up guys, it's me Zero here, and this is going to be the start of episode 4 of our Zero to Funded journey. Last episode we ended on a decently positive note, but overall it's been a kind of negative, obviously because of the $1,000 drawdown that we fell into. It's been a little negative, but I'm here to kind of bounce things back and get us back into that positive energy, that positive momentum that we had going on in the very beginning of the challenge. So we're in a current position here. I tried to record earlier bits and pieces, but my microphone is off and I didn't realize that. So I have the clips, but it's just silent clips, right? Because it's like I said, microphone was turned off and I didn't know that. And you guys can see all the executions here anyways. So these first two executions were like right near market open. We go to the trading view here. You can see that this was market open here, but it was a nice push up, but it got instantly rejected and it took us back into this supply zone. And that's why I felt comfortable taking the trade, because I felt as though we were having some weakness here, obviously. And if you can see, the previously established trend that we've been in has been high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Didn't make a lower low on this move here, and this didn't really break this high. And if we're getting that aggressive sell-off, we can potentially see this break here, and that would establish a lower low, and then wherever we establish the next high, potentially this is the next lower high, and then we get that even further lower low eventually, right? Which we can kind of be getting here right now. I like that fact that we got that nice rejection, took us back into the supply zone. So I took the short there, went short 2 contracts, like I said, took the first 2 early profits just to lock it in, just in case this last contract ends up going in our favor and then back to break even. I'll at least walk away with $20 in my pocket, right? But luckily we got some nice continuation here. It actually did hit our target, but like I said, I didn't take profits there because I wanted to see full potential on the trade, potentially break through the zone, and then we could target this next zone, and then we can have much further targets even after that. So, and since we're trading MNQ, it's not that much at risk anyways. So I went ahead and added a contract here. Unfortunately got stopped out on that one there, but I had also added two more times here. Those didn't get stopped out because their stop loss was 10 points above. So I was still holding 2 contracts after I got stopped out. These 2, one of them was for profit, 27 profit. The other one was for a $12 loss. So still overall profit plus the 2 profits we had before. This was right here coming into this supply zone. You can see fresh highs there, no continuation, instant rejection. I liked how heavy that rejection was, and I liked the fact that it was basically right under this supply zone. So like we mentioned here, sometimes you'll get that pivot right before the supply zone, which is why I ended up liking adding 2 more times here. So I added 2 again, and then I took profits on one of those contracts here, locking in $19 there. Locked in another contract here for $29, so a little bit more of a bigger move. That's more than 10 points, I believe. Yeah, because on MNQ, $20 would be 10 points. About 15 points. You can do the math there. You can see the entries and the exit. And then I locked 2 more contracts in as we broke this level. So fresh lows, and now we're holding this final contract. And we're getting some nice continuation here. So I'm actually going to lower this stop loss to around this area. This is a very great example of our new strategy here, where I want to take multiple contracts. So likely we're going to be trading MNQ for a while. Right now we're only dealing with like 2-3 contracts. I got up to 5 contracts at one point here, but I want to keep it around that area. And then once we get again back near account highs, which would be like 11,800, 11,900, basically once we get into the funded and once we build a cushion, I would like to obviously go all the way to our max position size, which is 10 MNQ, and then potentially even move to E-mini. But the issue with that is that I cannot scale if I'm trading NQ, which is very unfortunate. I might have to switch over. We'll see. Once we pass this, if we pass this evaluation and move over to a funded, and then we hit that 5,000 withdrawal limit on the funded sim, I might try to repass the evaluation account, but go for a bigger account. Because right now we're doing the evaluation for a $10,000 account. I might try to do a $50K account, or even a bigger account. That way we can have multiple NQ, and that's when we can really start see some nice profits with the strategy and trading it in a manner that I prefer, right? Like taking early profits on the first couple contracts to build a little cushion, and then letting that last contract run to its full potential. Guys, I have some Very bad news. Oh my god, it's the dumbest mistake. So we failed the evaluation because of trading a news event, FOMC minutes, I guess, which is why I was not aware of it. Because unless it's like a big FOMC, I don't keep up to date with news. But I should have. That's 100,000% my fault. But this gives us an opportunity here. So I was trading the 10K evaluation account, but I realized that I wasn't going to be able to size into NQ if we went with the 10K. So I just purchased right now, and we're going to be going with the 50K. That way we can actually size into the mini positions. So we can have up to 5 E-mini NQ, or just regular NQ, whatever you want to call it. And our new profit target is 2,500. Our maximum drawdown is going to be $2,000. We got to restart again, so we got to go log in 10 trading days. And this time we're going to be aware of the inconsistent days, so hopefully we don't build up any major inconsistent days that push the profit target above what it needs to be. Alright, welcome to our new account. We haven't made any accounts. We haven't made any trades on this account yet. I was thinking of possibly going short here. It looks like momentum is kind of shifting. We're kind of trying to topping out. We've made a decent move up higher today. It kind of started in the overnight market. It looked like we were kind of selling off initially. This is around where market opens on Sunday for futures. So we got a decent move down, but it started like kind of consolidating here, and then we started pushing up higher. We had a couple attempts to kind of like drop us below, but every single dip was bought, and we ultimately pushed higher. But now we're getting a decent drop here from highs, so this could end up marking the top of this move. We kind of got a bounce, and now we're trying to turn it around, so I could start a short here. Let's see, we turn on the 4 super, something like that. I wouldn't mind. Let's see if we get filled here. And if we get 2 contracts, the count's fresh though, so I kind of don't want to take 2 contracts because the loss would be a little bit too big for my liking here if we took 2 contracts. I always forget to turn off that notification. Sorry. The loss would be, or we're taking an 80 out. Okay, 2 contracts wouldn't be too bad here. But just gonna let it play out with 1 contract. Might extend this profit as we get closer. But it'd be kind of cool to lock in. I think this is frozen here. Let me.
Order filled.
Oh, we got filled there. Okay, so first, kind of wanted to extend profit to at least like down here to see if we break pivot, and then trail our stop loss with it as well. Looks like it would have hit right there. Obviously, if we got 2 contracts, we could have got filled on one there and extended the profit target minimum to here on the second one, but we only took 1 contract. So I really like that entry right side of the V. Typical trade that we take, right? Put our stop right above pivot, because that would obviously invalidate the fact that this would be the turning point, and then we can target lows here, or fresh lows or lower lows. But we ended up we kind of got distracted by the dom here, so we didn't extend and take profit, but also kind of just wanted to lock in a gain, so it's all good there. Looks like we're getting that continuation here. Nice to see. So that was basically a super scalp. So I guess we're not entirely done with super scalping, right? If like the entry, but the thing with the super scalping, like I said, I was basically going to be done with super scalping. It's not that I'm done with super scalping, but I want to be basing my stop losses off the invalidation points, and I want to be targeting those bigger moves, right? Once we're dealing with 2 contracts. But again, because this is a fresh account, I kind of want to build up a cushion first, kind of build up that confidence before we start taking 2 contracts, because if we take a loss with 2 contracts, obviously that means our loss is 2x as well. Okay, just gonna make a quick update here. So market just closed. We logged in our first day, so we go over here to TradeDay. Trading account balance is now at 50,075 and 42 cents. The one trade we made. Our trailing max out drawdown also moves up now. So now the lowest point we can hit on our account before we failed the max drawdown would be $48,075.42. Our profit target is still obviously 2,500. So now we have 1 day traded. It's going to be counted as an inconsistent day, because the way this is calculated is if any single day makes up more than 30% of your total profit, and our total profit right now is only 75.42. So obviously our 1 day is going to make up 100% of our total profit. But once we log in more days, today should go away. Ideally, we should be aiming for about $300 to $500 profit per day. And that would get us safely to our profit target within the 10 days, without creating any inconsistent days, because if we hit 2,500, 30% of that would be like 750, I believe, around 700. So we don't want to make any more than 700 in any single day, and we should be good to go. So those are the updates so far. And now if we go over to NASDAQ, you can see that our initial short entry was right over here, right as we started pivoting from this bounce, and we took profits like right here. So obviously a lot was left on the table, but again, it's just for the stop loss that we had, it's 1-to-1 risk reward, so not necessarily bad risk reward there, but it is unfortunate that we missed out on a lot of the drop. Like basically our idea was correct, that that part of this move was going to get retraced, and we were right that this was basically the pivot point. And had we know that, we didn't, but the fact that the amount of red candles back to back was very different to the previous price action that we've seen. Obviously, like I said, I mentioned it also in the video, we did have previous drops, but every single one of them, the dip was bought aggressively. You can see every single time we got any decent sell-off, the dip was bought aggressively. This was open, so you gotta take note of the fact that this is open, so there's obviously going to be increased volatility. That's why there's quite a bit of range there. Other dip here got instantly bought, other dip here got bought. This one was the closest one to this one, where I would have been okay with taking the short here and targeting, you know, for this move to get retraced, but ultimately it didn't get it stopped before we made a new low, and then as it started curling up, that's around where I would have got stopped out. But you can see that differentiates from this one, because the first bounce, buyer stepped in a little bit, but not really that aggressively. So like not even 50% of this was it retraced, and then we made that lower low, and then this officially creates that lower low trend that we were looking for, which is different from this because this bounce was a little bit more aggressive than this one. And once we started selling off, like I said, we failed to make that lower low. So that's where the downtrend idea would have been invalidated. So maybe we're going to start rejecting here. I could potentially start a short here, have our stop right at high of day or so far. So I might actually go ahead and try that. So we could put our stop loss right there at high of day, and then we could target much lower here. Why do I like it? Looks like this is kind of like being a resistance zone here. It's not as big of a bounce. Obviously the ideal entry now would have been somewhere over here, but I wasn't at my desk at that time, and kind of unfortunate, but that definitely would have been the re-entry here on the short move. Should be a zone right there that we're trying to create, and looks like we're trying to pivot, so right side of the V here, and we can target fresh lows here if we wanted to. So it looks like we got a decent move there, and we didn't get filled. A little unfortunate there. We can still quote unquote chase the trade here, but the risks to reward would still be favorable if we target, like, let's say these lows, but kind of want to get a little bit of a better entry here. Something like that I wouldn't mind too much. Keep our stop there. Let's see if we end up getting filled. If we don't end up getting filled, oh well, we missed out on the trade. It was already a little bit less than ideal entry, getting the short all the way down here. Okay, but that's all I got for you guys. If we get filled, we get filled. If not, this trade is, you guys probably wouldn't even see this footage, so it won't matter. But that's the next trade I'm going for on this account, trade number 2. All right, quick update here. We're still in the overnight session, but I've taken a few more trades and actually looking to make a re-entry. I just got stopped on the short, but I still kind of like it. But I just want to make sure I get a good stop loss on the trade where, like, I think the trade will be invalidated. So let's say if we enter here, I don't mind that. So I'm going to actually put the order out there, and I will extend my take profit quite a bit of ways. I might try to go 2 contracts on this trade actually if I get filled. So let's
order filled. Stop filled.
Wait, what? Okay, not sure what happened there. What? I'm a little confused here. Okay, sent the order out twice there. I'm still a little confused.
Order filled.
What exactly happened there? That was so loud. Okay, I'm short 2 contracts there. Our stop is just right above high of day. Gonna move those down a little bit actually, and gonna extend one of the take profits here. Okay, so let's go over the trades we've taken. So I did end up getting filled on that one short that I was showing you guys at the very beginning of market open here on the future session, or the overnight session I mean. So we got filled on that one. That ended up being like a $75 winner or an $80 winner. Here, let me see. Yeah, it was a $70 winner, so not a huge winner, but decent winner there to start off the day. Actually, I'll leave the trade lines for now. So that was the first trade. Obviously, you can see that ended up going a lot more in our favor. But I was walking away from my desk at that point. So I was like, I'm just going to take the profits here. And actually, if you look at the candles, it came up lower and then it started bouncing a lot. And I didn't like that. So we were up like 100 something on the trade at one point. But unfortunately, we didn't get the fill down there. And as it started bouncing and I was about to leave, I'm like, it's probably going to go to break even. So I'm just going to exit the trade there. Unfortunately, that basically ended up being the top there on that move on the bounce. And then we saw a really nice move there lower. Again, if we had 2 contracts here, that would have been a nice trade there to extend the take profit on the second one. But we only had 1 contract on that one. And then similar move here, we got a pretty significant bounce here. And we came back into the zone. And I thought we could maybe start pivoting. So as we started seeing some weakness, took the trade there. And then again, took a pretty small win there as well. Ended up extending a little bit more, but not too much. So not too upset about that one. And then similar here, this one was a little bit of a mistake there. I think I had a resting order and I got the notification on my phone that I was in. I wasn't sure what the chart was doing, so I ended up just taking that trade for like a $20 winner. Obviously, in hindsight, that would have been a decent entry there on the short, but again, I was not on my desk at this time, so I ended up just taking that trade there. And then I took a short here. Similar idea to this one where you get that bounce. And then as you start seeing some weakness, I ended up taking it short there, but I got stopped out. I still kind of like it though, because if you look at TradingView here, it's in this starting to be a supply zone here. We've seen it reject once here, 2 times here, 3 times, 4 times. We've gotten a decent move from here. So potentially we can see a move here. You can see it's starting to kind of reject here as we approach it, but doesn't mean we're going to fall from here, but we have the potential to. So I like the short there, and we have our stop right above high of day, so I like that. That would invalidate our trade at that point. And I am taking it with 2 contracts now. So this could end up being a pretty decent winner. If not, we get stopped out. And we'll lock in a $140 loser, which will take us back to basically break even on the account. Which would be a little unfortunate, but it's not like we've made that much progress anyways. And we can definitely recover from that. So I like the idea. Gonna let it do its thing. My first take profit is just going to be for that 1-to-1 risk reward. And then that second contract is going to be where we can potentially let it run there and look for that bigger winner. Okay, so the trade worked out, right? The idea we had, this ended up being the supply zone. We got that first drop, second drop, third drop, fourth drop, fifth drop from the zone, and the fifth drop is the one that got the most continuation. We got an entry somewhere over here, but if we go over to the executions, we're not holding a position. So we got short 2 contracts here. We almost got stopped out, very close, but we didn't. Hit our first profit target, so we got out there. And then once we hit our first profit target and we made a move lower, and we were up about like 140 on the contract, I moved the stop to break even on the second contract. And look at this. Can you be for real here? Stopped out to the tick. And then it makes the move. What is my luck, bro? This green candle came out of nowhere. Stops us out for break even. And then it makes the move. How is that? How is this real life? How does that happen? And then you can see there's a couple more executions there. I got short again, but realized I was chasing, so I closed that trade. Obviously, in hindsight, it wasn't like, it would have been a decent entry still, but the perfectionist in me didn't like that entry, so I ended up cutting that trade. And then this was an accident buy. This was the original profit target from this trade. I guess the order didn't get canceled for some reason. It was just a mistake, but basically the second take profit for this trade right here was right here. So that I didn't mean to buy that, so I bought there and then sold out for break even there. Good thing I exited that. I got the notification on my phone. So these orders happened while I was on my phone. But yeah, so that was an accidental trade right there. But nice continuation lower. So basically the overall idea that we've been short today was the right idea. We just didn't capitalize again. Which, I mean, it's tough. It's tough, right? Like, was it a mistake to move stop loss to break even? Yeah, it was. But you also gotta say that's a little unfortunate that it literally bounced enough to take us out, and then it made the move. Like, let's be honest, that was a little unfortunate there. But at the end of the day, it's my own fault, and we should still be holding that second contract for this big move here. Not gonna lie, definitely frustrated here. Definitely frustrated. Like I said, we had the right idea. We even had the right initial execution. But this is what I always talk about. At least in my opinion, exits are more important than entries. Not to say entries are not important. Entries are definitely, absolutely important. I can teach you entries, but it's really hard to teach somebody how to properly exit a trade. Like, anybody can draw the supply zone and say go short here, but it's about, okay, when do I exit the trade? And that little extra execution part, I feel like that's a part where we need to focus on a lot. At least for me, because I feel like my entries are pretty solid. If you look at almost every single one of these entries, this entry, solid. This entry, solid. This entry, solid. This was a little mistake here, but this entry, it was okay. But not the best, but it was still an okay entry. This entry, solid. This entry, solid. It's just about the exit, right? It's always the exit that should be the main focus, right? Because most of the money in trading is made while you're waiting in the trade. It's not made on your entry necessarily. But again, not to say entries are not important. It's just, in my opinion, exits are a lot harder to master, and that's why I put more importance on them over the entries. Because I feel like again, I could teach you how to take these entries. Just draw a supply zone and take it when we get into the supply zone. Pretty simple, right? Anybody could execute that, but some traders will be profitable with that strategy and some traders will not be. And what is the difference? The exits. It's always going to be the exits. Same with the H pattern. I can teach you guys the H pattern, but I can't necessarily teach you when to exit that trade. And learning when the right time to exit that trade is what's going to either make you successful or unsuccessful trading the H pattern. So those are the updates I got for you guys. So we're ending this session so far up 106.74 cents, and the account is now up to 50,182.16. All right, welcome back. Gonna make an update here. Obviously, there's been quite a bit of changes. You can see the P&L for today's session and our overall now net liquidation on the account, or not net liquidation, net liquidity, right? That's what it stands for. Basically our account balance. So quite a few executions on the screen right now, and this is MES, not MES, MNQ. So this is not NQ, which is what we were normally trading. This is MNQ, and actually, hold up, you guys can see that right there. And we did trade NQ in this session as well. Let's go over to NQ real quick. So we had this trade on NQ. Pretty standard trade, with the trend. So that's why I'm going for the downside here. This was kind of early, so this was somewhere over here. I think it was on this case. So you can also say this was kind of like a supply zone, and it ended up working out once, twice, 3 times for the short trade, but not too much continuation either time. But this was one of the attempts. So as we started rejecting the supply zone, right side of the V, took the short there, and then took a almost perfect exit right there. I'm not sure if it was to the tick or not, but it was pretty okay. No, maybe. Well, that's a line chart. Let's see. Okay, no, it was not to the tick, but pretty solid exit in hindsight. And then once we got to a similar price, I ended up trying it again, but got out of that one pretty fast. There's something that I didn't like about the chart. So those are the 2 trades on NQ, which brought us like 200 P&L with commissions a little bit less than that. So that built up a little bit of a cushion. And then if we go over to micro, E-mini, or just MNQ, so I went short here, got stopped out, and then tried the long here, got some movement in our favor, but ultimately got stopped out on that one. And then I took those NQ trades that brought us green on the day. And then I decided I was just going to start building a short position, but I wasn't going to go full size. So this first added, I think it's just one contract. And I just wanted to start building that short position. Again, at this point, I believe we were under the supply zone, but just the overall reason why I'm going short is because of what the trend is, right? The trend is obviously high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. Eventually, we're going to get that lower high, hopefully, someplace. I thought it'd be somewhere right here. Ended up being all the way up here, but we eventually got that lower high, and then that lower low. We eventually got that. So we can say down here, and now we're looking to what's going to be the next lower high, and then hopefully a lower low if this trend continues. If not, the trend breaks, then this will have been how far we got. But so I want to start building a short position, but very small position to start off. This is one MNQ, so it's not NQ. This is one MNQ. So we could build up to 50 MNQ contracts if we wanted to. So we had a lot of space to add up, and it was part of the plan to add to the position. I actually wouldn't. It would have been less better for us if it just started working out in our favor. So we kind of actually wanted the trade to go against us so we can build up that position size. So then we added another one slowly. And I wasn't just adding them as we got higher, but I was kind of waiting for that rise to the V. So could have added here potentially, but didn't. And then we got that second rejection. So as we started rejecting off that, I added to it because my confidence on the trade grew. Ultimately, though, we ended up breaking higher. And then again, as we started pivoting, added to the position again. Same thing here. Made a move higher, but as we started pivoting, added to the position. And here's where I started getting a little bit more aggressive. I think I made 2 adds there. And then as we made a move in our favor, added to the position again 3 more times. And then we made a move higher, added to position again. And then I started taking profits on here because I got pretty aggressive. Yeah, I was selling 5 contracts at this point. So here was actually where we entered most of the position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 contracts. And then here we added 5 contracts at once. So that's why I ended up taking profits pretty fast on that. And then I tried to leave a runner, but ultimately the runner got stopped out here, I believe. Oh, no. This is a different trade, actually. Never mind. Where did we exit the last contract? Did we just exit it here? Oh, never mind. So I actually never fully exited that position. That makes sense. Because I was like, why is there a line connecting these two, right? Okay, so I was short, obviously, at this point, and then I ended up taking profits. And then I left the runner, came all the way back to our original entry price. I ended up actually adding to the position here because this was a pretty big bounce. I thought we were going to hold it down better. So this was over here, this kind of action. So it kind of got V-shaped, and I was not expecting that. So I started adding back some size because obviously we had taken off. At this point I was only holding 1 contract, I believe, and then I added 3 more. So now we're short 4 contracts. Added another one, and then as we got that V-shape and my confidence grew, I got aggressive on adding, and then same thing. We started taking profits, and then I left 2 runners. Ultimately, we didn't get no more continuation than this, so eventually I got stopped out this one just above break even, and then got stopped out the other one as I thought trend was kind of breaking. But then we got that rejection, then I started kind of liking it again. So then I started adding back to the position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contracts now. Took 2 profits or something like that. Not sure if I ever added multiple times. No. Okay, this one was 2. So I had 6 contracts, got rid of 2. So we were holding 4 contracts, I believe. And then I was okay with it. I was going to sleep at this point. I know it's like 4 a.m. I was going to sleep at this point. My sleep schedule is just it's messed up. So I put my stop loss all the way up here, which the reason I did that was because we were up about 200-ish on the day. Maybe closer to 300. We were up closer to $300 on the day, I believe. And so I was willing to risk all of that for the potential to make more than we had. Basically, I was aiming for like closer to 700 on the day. I was willing to risk the profits on the day, because obviously it hadn't contributed to our trailing drawdown yet. Because if you didn't know, TradeDay doesn't count the trailing drawdown until end of day. So we could lose that 300 profit, and it really wouldn't affect us moving forward. And not the trend wouldn't have been broken. Like I said, the high, low, lower, high trend wouldn't have been broken until we hit this point. And also we were trading MNQ, so our risk was lower than if we were trading NQ. And we were only holding 4 contracts, and we had already locked in gains from early in the day. So, and I was going to sleep, so I really didn't want to get stopped out, and then the move happened. So set our stop loss pretty high. It almost got hit, but didn't. And then we started pivoting. Should have definitely started adding more to the position as we started falling down, and we got that right side of the V, similar to how I started adding here, basically at the same price, but there's a lot more confidence on the trade here at this point than it was here, because obviously we got this move and then it rejected. The fact that it rejected adds confidence to this short trade, and it's basically the same price I'm going short at, but it's on the right side. So similar thing here, we could have done that, and it definitely would have added to the probability on the trade. But at the end of the day, we hit our max profit gain on the day either way, so I guess it's not too important. But definitely, if we didn't have no restrictions on how much we should be making per day, I would have added to the position around here. The only reason I took profits here was because we were hitting the max profit we should be taking in any given day to not create too many inconsistent days. And even so, we passed the limit, so we kind of have to try to potentially or intentionally lose $12 here. So let's go long here.
Order filled.
We could just do it with
Order
commissions,
filled.
right?
Order filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, we lost some money there.
Order filled. Order
okay, there
filled.
we go. So now we're under the 750. Because we can't really try to make over 750, or else it extends our profit target, and we are not going through that shit again. As happened when we were trading the 10K valuation. I had one inconsistent day that would just not go away, and it made it so we had to literally aim for a profit target that was 100% double what the original was. Like, that's kind of fucked, not gonna lie. So keeping it under the 750. So just took those trades to intentionally lose money there. I feel like this episode is gonna be really, really long, so that's why I'm trying to cut down on the live trades. I know you guys probably want to watch the live trades, but like, these are longer term trades as well, so it's not like I'm scalping, so it's kind of hard to record these trades live. Yeah, I could record every single time I make an executions, but it's a little bit annoying to do that. I feel like it's easier for me to just come on here and do the recaps instead of, recording every time. That also takes a lot more time to edit. But I will try to get some live trades in there for you guys, so you guys can watch and see my commentary, as the chart is forming. I feel like that's a lot more helpful than just doing the recaps. But like I said, it's just really time consuming to do it that way. And these are longer term trades anyway, so it's not like I could have, but most of the trade is just me waiting it out. But they're pretty similar. Like, the strategy here, like I said, it's just going with the trend and sizing in. It's kind of an averaging in strategy, which I don't really recommend you do, but because I'm going with the trend, I'm kind of okay with it. And I was doing it in a manner where we weren't really going that heavy until my conviction really drew. Like I said, most of our position on this short, yeah, it looks like we had a lot of executions here, but this was basically where we entered most of the position. Really similar thing here. This is where we entered most of the position here, and those are the more ideal entries there. So these are kind of just, like I said, building up the position. But this was majority of my position entering right here. Most of my position was entering right here. This one I did take a lot of drawdown on this, but like I said, the reason I was okay with it was because I didn't think the overall trend was invalidated until this point, and we never went above that price. And ultimately we got our trade, so it worked out in our favor. But normally I don't love taking damage drawdown, and also we weren't full position size. Like I said, we can have up to 50 MNQ contracts on this account size, and we only had 4 contracts, and we had already locked in gains for the day. So if I would have got stopped out somewhere right here, I would have been basically break even on the day. So that's the reason the stop loss was that wide. But like I said, I don't normally trade like that, and ideally I would have got really aggressive on the position as we started the right side of the V, I would have doubled my position size easily once we got same price but on the right side. I would definitely keep trading today normally because today's getting some really solid action and range and trendy and directional action. But because we hit, I've explained it already. Because we hit 750 already, there's no reason to trade. Like if I made more money, it would actually it would actually hurt us more than benefit us. Gonna stop the recording there, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the last day of the week, Friday, and hopefully we can have another solid green day and make some more progress on this evaluation account. But yeah, see you guys then. Alright guys, so I'm getting ready for another trade here. I'm gonna go short.
Order
This
filled.
is micro E-mini, so I'm okay with just taking one contract. Like even if this goes against me 50 points, right? It's not really gonna do too much damage. So the trend is still to the downside, even though we got this big bounce. So let's hop over to TradingView where I like the charts a little bit better. So clearly this was a trend, right? Trend started up here actually. High, low, lower high, lower low. I feel like I always go through this, but I mean it's kind of important to the trend. Lower high, lower low, lower high. You can say here lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, no lower low. And then we broke the trend a little bit here, and this is where I got stopped out. So now you flip the pattern, low, high, higher, or well, you can say that, but ended up being a fake out. So low, high, higher low, higher high, potentially higher low, and then the point where this uptrend would be like confirmed would be if we break this, but it hasn't yet broken it, so we can take a short and put our stop somewhere above there. And that's a pretty wide stop, but because we're only trading one MNQ, I'm okay with taking it. And the plan right now is to eventually add to this position. A couple different scenarios that I would be okay adding if it plays out. So we end up coming down, breaking down aggressively, and then we bounce, and it's looking like it's gonna start pivoting again. I would add there. So something like this. If we get that, I would try to add somewhere right here. Obviously, I don't know exactly where the pivot's going to be, but if I get indications of that based on the price action we get, I would add. If we get more of this, and then we start breaking down, I would add. If we get a break of this, but instant rejection, I would add. So those are the scenarios I'm looking for. Ideally, and this is that kind of like, ideally we don't get that, because then I would only be in with one contract. Doesn't matter, right? I'm not gonna make shit. I'm gonna make what, 20 bucks if we go to fresh lows, or actually no, I'd make like 50 bucks, right? If we get a move like this, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm trying to make a little bit more than that. So hopefully I get an ad and it doesn't just go straight down. So a little counterintuitive that I don't want the trade to work in my favor really. But again, I'm trying to build that position, and those are the scenarios I would like. But the overall thesis for this is that we're still in an overall downtrend. Yes, it got kind of broken here, but this I'm looking at this pivot here now as the last line of resistance basically, and I don't want us to break above that convincingly. Like I said, if we get this but instant rejection, I would still add to the position. That would actually increase my confidence by a lot. But if we break and we start holding price above here, and obviously I would not like the short anymore, and then we would start looking for a potential long entry to eventually break these highs here. Alright, good morning everybody. So you guys can see the executions here. The trade ended up working out pretty nicely. Pivot ended up breaking this one too. But we got that instant rejection that we were looking for. So I actually ended up getting pretty aggressive on the shorts somewhere up here, and it ended up being a pretty nice trade here. This is on MNQ, so we were able to size into the trade with multiple contracts and be okay with the risk we were taking on, right? So this is where I started taking a little bit of a drawdown as we started spiking up. At this point, I was only short like one contract, I believe, and then I started coming back up. I started adding to the position. It was just one contract at a time. I was adding it, and then here's where I started getting aggressive. So this is where I added 5 contracts. This is where I thought we were gonna pivot, but because I got a little bit aggressive, I put a tighter stop loss. So as we started pivoting, I got in, and then I put the stop at fresh highs, I believe. We got stopped out on that. Then it started pivoting again, so I added the size again. Got stopped out on that, and then I really liked it here when you can see if we switch it to candlesticks. Got that extension above the zone, and then ultimately got rejected. So somewhere around here, put on the position again, and then this time it actually ended up working out, and then took off a good amount of the size here, and then left some runners, and those ended up working out pretty nicely for us. And that was the trade we ended up catching. Obviously, I didn't sell at the bottom, a little bit of a mistake there, but still a pretty solid trade there. I'm pretty happy with that, and that puts us at 380 and 68 on the day. We could keep trading here and aim for a little bit of a bigger day, but I think I'm gonna just walk away like with that. In the week there, yesterday and today was pretty good for us, so that brings the account up to 51,412 and 98. So we just need about $1,100 left, and we can hit the profit target. This is day 5 on the evaluation account, so we just need 5 more trading days logged. So the earliest we can pass the account is next week, at the end of next week, Friday. That could be the earliest we pass the account, but we still need to hit, like I said, 1,100. So if we divide that by 5 days, about $220 per day, and we can hit the profit target. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna end the day there, unless I see like a super easy setup. Like this is looking a little bit good for the short here, but it's a little bit, well, it's not a little bit, but it's pretty volatile right now, so gonna wait it out a little bit, but might take another trade, but I think for now I'm done, unless, like I said, it's a super clear setup and I really like it. It's like I have to take it because we still have room to make a little bit more profit. Like I said, we won't hit one of those inconsistent days unless we hit over 750, so we still could make another $200 and be okay. So we'll see. Like I said, if there's a good setup, I'll take it. If not, this is how we're gonna end the week, and I think this is gonna be the end of episode 4. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you guys did watch the whole thing, thank you so much. Thank you for spending your time and watching through this. Hopefully you're able to at least gain a new perspective or just be entertained by this series, and I'll catch you guys next week for episode 5. I think I'll try to make each episode include like a week of trading, so episode 5 should come out either Friday or Saturday of next week. I'll leave you guys there. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.